so much success there on the East Coast, whether it be Turning Stone or the International, winning his U.S. Open there in Virginia as well.
And he's won the Turning Stone 3 times in a row, 9 times in total now, so very much the dominant player in that event. And always great to see him. His wife, Ara, as usual at these big events, is with him. I saw them a little earlier today.
Yeah, any indication, quite a bit off with the lag from Candela. You would think he's a little fatigued, but he wasn't at the Derby last week.
Thank you, the first rack.
I think you're gonna see Jayson take a little more time.
Yeah, you saw number 6 after his name there. That's his seeding based on where he was at the end of last year. He's actually climbed a place in the rankings since then. So it is the world number 5 as it stands now, getting us off and running.
Yeah, and speaking of that break shot I was talking about, this is exactly what I meant, that maybe this opening break or his opening break can get him started. Making 3 on the break. Does have a nice shot on the 2, and the 3 is open. But I think you're going to see him take a little more time at the beginning of this match. And not anything like outlandish, but just making sure, you know, he kind of gets out when he's supposed to. Don't let a lead that's supposed to be kind of slip away, turn it into a dogfight.
Even taking this time suggests this is probably going to be one of the shortest opening racks, one of the shortest racks full stop that we've seen all day. Those 3 balls going down off the break.
And he's perfect here on the 8. Just has to maybe stun over an inch, maybe. Just kind of play the shot naturally. I said earlier that talked to Jayson right before this match, and he said he's feeling a little out of it, even though all he's been doing is pretty much resting the last 2.5 days.
Let's have a look at some of the other tables. A couple of matches finishing up here. And this is Victor Zielinski. Well, there's been a lot of talk about him and a big year and potentially winning this title. Well, he's just completed victory. 9 racks to 4. Such a big Polish contingent here, and he's really at the forefront of it. And this is Tyler Steyer, someone you know well from your Mosconi Cup team. Even more comfortable win for him.
Yeah, and we all know the type of matches he's capable of playing, and he's going to play some of those matches here. It's just a matter of continuing it through the event. Another guy that always breaks the ball as well.
Second rack, Jayson Shaw to break, leading by 1 rack to.
So those players have reached the end of their matches. Jayson Shaw just getting his started. Things going nicely so far. Oh, and just as I say that, he scratches in the side.
Yeah, I think 3 little kisses of the cue ball right there at the rack area. And the cue ball kind of followed the 9 towards the side. Exactly what Candela kind of needed. Or maybe not needed, but you would think he needs to get himself started in a calm manner, ball in hand. Nothing better. Tricky little out. Even with ball in hand, he's got to play a nice shot from the 1 to the 2 to get easily onto the 3. And then from there, it's still not easy with the 4 kind of out in space, but a little covered up by the 8. I'm not sure it passes the 7 to their upper right-hand corner. And now he's played to where he's got to kind of stun the ball into position. Nothing so natural here. So all about your touch. It's the type of shot you could easily end up way short, or quite the opposite, too long behind the 9. Or even worse, over the 9 with the 4 on the other end. And this is going to be some stretch here, Michael. He's lucky he has the left side of the cue ball. So now it's very important that the 4 passes the maroon 7. At least he could roll the 3 in and take a long shot. Now he's looking to see if the pocket's open. The safety's not really an option just because he can't cue the ball well enough to clip the 3 and run.
It's a bit harder when you have to use the bridge, but turning it on its side as well.
Yeah, all ball fouls, so our referee on top of it. Oh, it looked like the 9 moved. Yeah, it looked like the 9 moved, I thought, but maybe not. And sometimes, like the reflection of the balls when they're close, when they go by each other, or even leaving there, can make you think the ball moved.
Well, if there's one referee,
Marcel.
Anything is Marcel, as you found at the Moscone, Jeremy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was the only one in the building that missed that one. Marcel was on top of it, of course. Big shot here early for the man from Italy. Oh, really nice. And the key to that wasn't just making it, but how calmly he struck the ball from some distance. That can almost remind you of how to hit the ball the rest of the match.
That's the sort of shot that if you're very much the outsider in a match and you're not used to being on the main table, it's a real test early on. So encouraging signs.
Yeah, and Francesco, he's been in this spot before on the main table as a big underdog and didn't have quite the matches he wanted. So he's the type of guy as well, know him a little bit, that will always wants to learn from what he's doing and others are doing. So. A little off angle here, I think. I don't know if he easily stuns over for the 9 in the same pocket. You can see him kind of looking at this, or if he can go forward easily for the 9 on the side or the upper corner. Main thing on these is don't take your eye off the object ball. That's the key. Gets this 9 down. Pretty clean run out from a kind of a little bit of a touchy layout.
Yeah, it was the scratch in the side from Shaw that handed him the initiative. And Candela. Oh, wow.
Wins the second.
Well, we were wondering there from a moment. The angle may have been a little deceptive. Let's hear from Jayson Shaw coming into this championship.
There's a lot of good players in this event. It's going to be tough. I feel like I'm playing well. Just have to get some rolls. That's all it is. If you can get on a roll and keep it going, then that's what you want to do. It's so tough, though. You just got to hope that you play well, and hopefully it's your day when it comes to that side of the game. My goal is just to get to the last 16 right now, and then take it from there. Obviously, winning would be fantastic, but so far away, so many matches away. I just got to stay in my own little bubble and do my own thing, and hopefully I can produce my A game. I think I got a lot of fans in Poland. You know, I get on well with a lot of the Polish players too, so I feel like, yeah, I think it's a good place to have the tournament. I've not really been around because I've just kind of arrived. I've been in Poland 2017 for the World Games. That was a great time I had there. I finished second, so hopefully this is something where I could finish first. Who knows?
They let the break.
So Jayson Shaw looking forward to finally getting a real deep run in the World Championship. Has been a quarter-finalist in the past. And it's 1-1 now. 9-ball just dropping in the end for Candela.
And Candela making the one in the corner, but a rare corner ball sighting today. We haven't seen many of those. And on that 9-ball, I think Candela was like the least worried in the building whether that 9 was going to fall. Pretty cool customer.
Yeah, as I say, we were looking at it on the screen. Maybe it was a little deceptive. He, of course, was right behind the shot. As you say, seemed pretty comfortable about it.
Well, he's got a real natural here to come off his right side or left side of the 2 and go to the side rail and really jam Eagle Eye up on that 4 and 6. Now, he's going to try and play the 2 all the way back down. I don't think that's necessary. I think the 2 ball about middle of the table get you to the side rail off the 2 and into that 4 and 6. Maybe even taking care of a little problem with that congestion. Oh, he cut it the other way. Nothing wrong with that. I thought it was a little more work than the other side of the 2, and maybe the 3 had him cut off the other side. All right, you can see what he's lining up, a kiss shot. So he needs to draw the cue ball. That makes the kiss shot easier off the 6. Yeah, I like that. I think the 3 opened up.
"34 years of age now, from Scotland, but been based in the United States for some time, where he runs a pool room. His in-laws actually look after it for him when he's away playing at events."
Yeah, I think they used to own it, actually. And then him and Aura took it over. It's in Connecticut. All right, just 2 rails with a little high top spin. Looking to play the 8 in the same corner he's standing over. And you can say that Jayson's one of the players, the names that a lot of people would love to see in a certain type of final. You know, there's probably 10, 12 guys, and then, of course, along with some of the Polish contingent that would make an incredible World Championship final.
Yeah, he'd be a very popular winner, and he is the winner of that rack.
Gonna have to have, just like any of us that win a big title, you know, kind of the week of his life a little bit, just because you're gonna have to beat a lot of the very, very top names to hold this trophy come Sunday evening. But yeah, Kazakis, of course, very consistent. Once he gets comfortable, he's tough to beat. It's just a matter of how comfortable he can get.
Just news of one other winner. Robbie Capito from Hong Kong has beaten Tolian Han 9-3. Capito, one of so many players who sort of showing signs over the last few years, but haven't really turned that yet into a long run in a really big event. And are looking to do that soon to take that next step.
Yeah, and Capito's defense really 21 years old still, I believe, maybe 22 now. So has a long way to go and has the talent. You could see Eagle Eye was trying to see if he could get at the 1 to bank it cross side, and I'm not sure. I think the 9 kind of had him cut off. Maybe he's still trying to do that. He may surrender a shot here, and it's going to be a long one. Nothing easy, but you see Eagle Eye was trying to point it at the 3 ball. He was hoping the 1 would get contained from a little bump on the 3. This is an in-between shot. I mean, you can roll it. Speed's got to be nice and stroke's got to be pure to hold for the 2. He could elevate, but from this distance you wouldn't think so. He is elevating. So you can miss this a few different ways, thin or thick. Oh, that's sweet. I'll tell you what. A couple of the tough shots he's made look the easiest, Michael.
Well, how often have we sat and watched players who have never been on the main table or have only been on it a few times go out there and just not be able to cope with it at all? He looks the complete opposite. He looks absolutely fine with all this.
Yeah, well, he's been, like I said, been out there a few times the last couple of years. Of course, the World Cup of Pool didn't hurt.
Sure.
And he's steadily improving.
Yeah, teamed up with Daniele Corriere last summer in Brentwood, representing Italy at the World Cup of Pool.
I was pretty impressed with Daniel as well in that big event. I mean, they didn't, you know, win the tournament or make too deep of a run, but they definitely were tough to beat.
Candela came into the new year at 83 in the world rankings. Certainly feel the potential to improve significantly on that.
Well, you gotta like his pace around the table, not too slow, not too fast. Very calm. And sometimes you play matches, right, where the balls don't really lay to where you can see the separation in the players. You know, maybe the racks lay a little easier, more doable. Maybe it takes some of those to get an upset, but so far the tough shots haven't been the problem for Daniel at all. Oh, excuse me. I was thinking of his counterpart, Francesco. And for a guy like Francesco, just can't let some easy ones get away. That's the main thing to pulling off an upset.
Yeah, when you get your opportunities, make them count. Especially against someone like Shaw, who can so easily sit you down for several racks in a row.
Yeah, he'll zigzag the cue ball most likely here 2 times across, playing the 9 in the lower left. Oh, he's going to go with high inside. Most of the players will, if they have the choice, would rather kind of Z the cue ball rather than top inside. Guess a little preference there.
Candela levels for the second time at 2-all. Now we're going to have a look over on table 3. And this is Mieszko Fortunski, one of the best players from the large Polish contingent, against Emil Andre Gangflo of Norway. Fortunski would be a clear favourite to win this match, but he's having the going tough here. It's 6-all at the moment. Winner of this plays Loho Sum in the winner's qualification round.
Yeah, I've heard the name. This kid from Norway, and I've got to see him play. I did get to see him warm up, though. Looked very capable and making a nice comeback here. I believe he was down 6-2, maybe. And that's the thing. If you really just, like Jayson said, and I preach it to players, get very involved in yourself. That's the best thing you can do. And once you start to do that out there and you start playing the game by yourself, you're really capable of beating any player. Made the corner ball last time, but can't really depend on that happening too much. It's got to be the one on the side for the most part. Tricky rail first shot here from Jayson. I think the purple 5's got him cut off the 1 directly. He's definitely going to take this on. He's got to hit just past the side. Well, thought he was going to take it on. Looked like he was about to swerve the ball. Touchy little rail first on the slick felt. He's got to kind of cue this with a little low also. Maybe low. Yeah, see him cueing downward, trying to bring the cue ball out enough to cut the 1 in. And he did it too much.
Foul stroke. Contact ball in net.
Yeah, Eagle Eye was worried about not getting enough on the ball there, and he got too much, Michael.
Yeah, not into his flow yet at all. Got off to a flying start. 3 balls down off the break in the opening rack, and he had a 1 in a couple of minutes, but that has definitely not set the tone for these early stages. Saw Gangflo a few moments ago. Another Norwegian player, Mats Sjetne, is 8-7 down to Jakub Konjar of Slovakia. Interesting thing about that match is that whoever wins it will play Shane Van Boning in the next round.
A pretty unlucky draw for the 2 countrymen from Singapore drawing each other, Aloysius Yap and Sharik Sayed.
Yeah, that was earlier today. Yap former US Open runner-up, winning 9-1. As that 2 goes down there, as you'll have noted from that graphic, that means these two level on balls potted, and Candela certainly holding his own here.
Yeah, he's gotten a little off angle. Probably he's going to look and see what he can do from there. If he's comfortable, I may draw the cue ball to the side rail. Just anytime the ball's deep, right, in the pocket, coming across the spot, that kind of angle is kind of difficult to judge. So I may draw the cue ball over here, yeah, like that. That way you can run off the side of the ball a little bit more and kind of predict the line of the cue ball. Now he's got a funny one here if he uses that left long rail, just because the 6 is there. So he's got to go above the 6, but not too much. That way the 8 doesn't come into play. So tricky little shot here. Could just draw the cue ball out of the pocket up towards the purple 5.
There are matches going on at the moment in the winners qualification round. Remember, players who win this round we're watching here go through to that, and if they win in that round, then that puts them into the single elimination last 64 stage. And at the moment, Nikos Economopoulos is 6-5 up on US Open finalist Max Lechner, and Nick Vandenberg of the Netherlands has a 6-5 lead over Ronald Regley. So the race is on to be the first man through to that last 64.
I'm going to tell you, the way Candela looks so far, that hits center cut there, a real calm stroke again from distance. And Eagle Eye's going to have his hands full in this match, it looks like to me. And of course, winner break format. If Jayson does get to the table, he may keep Francesco from the table. And that may be the difference. So far, besides that first 9 ball, right, there really hasn't been too many questions when the ball has gone to the pocket. Very clean, easy movement of the cue ball. That's always a good sign.
Well, he had the dry break at the start of the rack, but pretty soon he was back at the table with ball in hand. And he's delivered. That's 2 racks in a row for Candela, and he now leads for the first time in the match against Jayson Shaw at 3-2. Now, I mentioned winners qualification matches going on at the moment, and Nick Vandenberg of the Netherlands is really flying. He's on the hill now, I can tell you. It's just gone against Ronald Regley. Can update you on that graphic, 7-5 there, but he has just won the 13th rack as well. So he may very well be the first player through to the last 64. Just if you're new to the sport and these formats, it is double elimination, so if you are beaten in this round that we're watching on the main table, you then go to the loser's side. You need to find 2 wins then to get through.
And then at the break, in the match 5, 3 breaks.
And once we get down to 64, it's all very straightforward. 1 round in each session from Friday lunchtime through to Sunday night. And straight knockout from that point on. Things going well for Candela, 3-2.
Yeah, if anything, I'm thinking maybe the break shot is the only thing to slow him down. And you see switch sides there, trying to get something going. Still, you wouldn't say the break that you're going to repeat with the 6 ball going up in the upper left-hand corner. So far, if you're Team Italy, you got to love what you've seen, besides maybe the break shot.
Yeah, fair assessment. As I said, he's a regular on the Euro Tour, which is good standards, good strong fields, decent length matches. Got to a couple of last 32s on the Euro Tour last year. in both cases was one rack away from making the last 16. Roman Hibbler and Alexander Kazakis were the players who beat him. Also got to the last 16 of the US Straight Pool Championship. So in various sorts of events, it was a productive year for him, 2022. Definitely signs of progress.
Yeah, and elevated there on the first shot. He overhit it, but you can see an odd shot on the one getting to the two. He has to maybe just go down with the cue ball. Did he get in that gap? Oh, that's a sweet shot there. Tell you what, he may move the 9 a little bit here. Doesn't have to. You'd hate to go into it and put it into a bad spot, but might move it towards that side pocket. Yeah. You want an angle on the 5 anyways. And the reason why it would have been nice to put it over the side is the 7 can be a little tricky getting on the 8. So if your speed's off coming around the table here, that could make it a little tougher getting on the 9.
Well, after that wonderful opening rack from Shaw, things went off the boil a little. But some nice fluent play there. A couple of testing shots towards the end of it, and he's won the rack. He's level with Francesco Candela.
How that translates in Celsius, but
that would be below freezing anyway.
Yeah, it was cold. Thick sheet of ice all over the roads. The town kind of closed down for a bit. And I think this is the difference in the match so far, the break shot. Now, of course, not producing anything here, but Shaw's made 3 on the break, 2 on the break. Now just 1 ball on the break, but near the yellow one. This is what we've seen, a few missed safeties. And Alex and I commented about this in the last match we did, that maybe the tables aren't quite as slick as we're used to. They're still slick. They're still sliding a bit. But at times it seems more grabby, and I think that has something to do with the winter weather, the moisture we have outside. As great as these conditions are, and the venue's incredible, you can't hardly beat Mother Nature. Not fully, anyways. All right, he's going to try and play a safety, coming 2 rails at the 9. Maybe gets behind the 9. I wouldn't be surprised at early winner here, though. Too thin. This is going to surrender a pretty easy shot. And maybe another part of the game that separates Francesco from, a tier or 2 ahead of him. So far, we've seen a lot of run-out pool, and he's done very well, but not much tactically so far. In the first shot, he didn't hit his mark.
As you saw there, 4 of the 6 completed racks so far have been won by the non-breaking player.
A little straight here, so he can't get quite as close to the 4, I don't think, that he wants. Doesn't need to get really close to it, but wants to get a little beyond the side to play the 5.
Doesn't have a lot of history in this championship. Was a quarter-finalist back in 2016 and beat some very good players to get there. Copigny, who was the defending champion that year, of course, and Dennis Orcolio. Went down in the last 8-12, and Ocean, who went on to win the championship for the first of his 2 so far.
You can hear a big applause there for Fortunski in a very tight match. Maybe 7 all, I think. Maybe something like that.
Wins the rack.
Jayson Shaw leads once again at 4-3. Let's have a look at what it's all about, as well, of course, as the main goal, which is the world title and the trophy that goes with it. $60,000 for the winner. You can see once you get to about the last 32, last 16, the money starts to go up very, very quickly indeed. And of course, all of that translates into world ranking points. And that in turn feeds into things like Mosconi Cup qualification.
Yeah, I think after we get into 2024, there's going to be tons of implications for those rankings. Full 2 years on the board.
Yeah, players still accumulating points, and then as of the start of next year, they'll start to lose the points, starting with those they got at the beginning of 2022. And just to go back to what you were saying there, Mieszko Fortunski now 8-7 up against Emil Andre Gangflo. That match going on right in front of us, so we'll be able to keep you up to date on it. 4-3 here.
He's going to end up maybe with a shot. He does. Now he can look a little to the sky there. He knows he didn't hit the break shot the best, so it'd be huge to knock this one ball down. I think he'll attack. There is a 3-rail safety there, but hard not to shoot at this. Yeah, sweet stroke there from Mr. Shaw. Tricky little 8-ball, and he took care of that, opening off the side rail. Now he'll track the cue ball a couple rails around the pink 4.
Well, this is what we associate more with Jayson Shaw, isn't it, than a lot of what we've seen in the last few racks. The quick kill.
Yeah, but it's a difficult thing to turn on and off, because he's not going to play that way later in the tournament, right? Not too often anyways. He's going to respect every shot when he's playing the likes of world champions.
Second break and run of the match from Jayson Shaw, and he becomes the first player to be more than one rack clear. It's now 5-3. The setting in Kielce on the opening night. First time the World Championship's been here, but the World Pool Masters was staged here. I believe it was at a different venue, but it was in this city back in 2012. Let's have a look over on table 7, see what's happening there. And this is Mats Schietner beating Jakob Konjar in a hill-hill finish, and the reward for that is a clash with the defending champion Shane Van Boning in the next round. Winner's qualification that will be. Real hard-fought contest.
The 9th rack.
Yeah, the Norwegian players showing up here early.
Jayson Shaw to break, leading 5-3.
So Shaw's a bit of breathing space at last. He'll have only one thing in his mind now, powering on from here, putting this match out of Candela's reach.
Looks like he's going to get another shot at the 1 unless the pink 4 covers the pocket up. And it did. He still can cut this. So pretty sweet shot to watch here. A lot of low outside. Real light with the touch to hold for the 3. That's the shot I wonder later in the event. I've commented on it the last couple tournaments that Jayson's been at. The International is one of them as well. Is he's had at times a suspect draw stroke. It's like from kind of from nowhere, and it's usually on the easier ones, not the tougher ones.
Yeah, the International was that big event that he won in Virginia in November. Beat Victor Zielinski in the final, and was very honest afterwards, said, I've struggled the last 12 months, just wasn't feeling it, and maybe his mind was on other things.
He's gotten on the 50 here, so got to make a nice shot in the side, work the cue ball around the 9. Well, a place you're comfortable in, right? That's kind of like a good place to go to when things aren't going your way, and maybe you couldn't wait for that international to come quick enough.
Well, he was the champion there, and he's starting to play like a champion here. 2 breaking runs in a row, and that's 6-3 between Max Lechner and Nikos Economopoulos. So a close run thing to be the next player through. Jayson Shaw was 3-2 down here against Francesco Candela. Since then, he's won 4 in a row.
There, it looks like maybe our first dry break, so we'll get another look at Francesco. And ironically, we all know that Vandenberg took some years off from the game, now back at it. But I talked to Ronald Regley before this match, and he said the last real professional match that Nick Vandenberg played was against him in the European Championship quarterfinal. Ronald beat him, which, you know, the government helps the guys from Holland whenever you have certain status, and Nick didn't gain that status by losing that match to Ronald, and therefore kind of gave up pool for a little while. Now ironically beats him to get into the final 64.
Yeah, we'll see him again on Friday. Now, big moments these for Candela. As I said, he's lost the last 4 racks. Hasn't been to the table in the last 2. But now he's back in play with a chance to stem the Shaw tide.
And it was that safety on the one that surrendered a shot to Jayson, and Jayson put a couple breaking runs together. Tell you what, the guy must not get nervous, though. Must not sweat much to play with a carbon fiber shaft with no glove. Maybe the only guy in the room that does that.
Well, he comes across as a very calm, measured individual, and just a very steady pace. You wouldn't say he's a slow player particularly, but takes his time, let's put it that way.
Yeah, could have maybe used a hair more angle. The only reason he's going to try and get in this gap between the 4-5 for the 4 up in the corner. When you have a little more angle, your speed control's better, actually, because you're not forcing the ball much. You're kind of just rolling off the object ball. And now he's got to play a nice shot. Super nice guy, Francesco, as you had talked about. Just seems like a pretty easy guy to get along with, and he is. Super soft-spoken. Got to make a big shot here, though, coming back and forth between the 7-9.
We promised we'd keep you posted on events on table 3. Emil Andre Gangflow is at the table with a chance to beat Mieszko Fortunski. That's gone to a hill finish.
Yeah, I kind of shook the 4 home there.
Yeah, only 5 balls away from what would be a really good win for him.
A really good shot there on our table. Candela still not out of the woods, has a lot to work to do here to get on the 6. Big crowd around watching the man from Norway trying to take down one of the crowd favorites, Fortunski. I really like that guy, Fortunski. His game, really nice guy. And I like anyone that has to deal with the mental side of the game. You know, he was known as a guy with big talent, but could, you know, kind of crack if things don't go his way at times. And anyone that fights through that struggle has got my respect. I wouldn't try to get close to the 6 here, Michael. I think I just kind of zigzag the cue ball between the 7-9 towards that left side pocket off of 2 rails and take the cut. Oof. Caught the point there, which slowed the cue ball down. And a very dangerous route there. Hits any shorter, he catches the 7 coming out. An inch longer, he gives that ball in hand. From what I've seen on that table with Fortunski, it's been a very high quality match, so even on a loss, probably take some positive things away.
Yeah, Fortunski looks to be heading to the loser's side.
staying aggressive. What a shot. And kind of heck with the tactical battle, huh, Michael? Just knock him in.
Yeah, it's one of the best shots he's played in the whole match.
And he's played some nice ones.
Yeah, clearly not fazed by the fact that this match has turned against him over those last 4 racks. Sometimes you see that when a player is the underdog, makes a good start, and then the other guy takes control. The outsider can fade away a bit and shrink from it, but not a bit of it here. Certainly not with that excellent shot on the 6.
Yeah, well, besides the break shot, it's really been that one safety that has failed him.
Well, Candela really needed to win this rack. Shaw was going to disappear over the hill, you felt. And he has won it.
Candela.
Crucial one. He gets back to 2 behind at 6-4. Now let's look at the final moments. Over on table 3, the hill finish between Mieszko Fortunski of the home contingent and Emil Andre Gangflo, one of the Norwegians in the field here. So Gangflo here just looking for 8 and 9 to go through. A hard-fought victory, as you say, a high-quality match.
Yeah, that's what it appeared like, and he left himself a little more than 9 than he wanted. Could have used maybe 6 inches closer, maybe not as much angle.
Nicely done, completes the job. So there will be 2 players from Norway in the winners' qualification round. After Mats Shetner also went through in a hill finish earlier against Jakob Konjar.
Yeah, this has got to improve right here if he's going to make this comeback. All right, he's made the 1. That's important. The corner ball as well. Cue ball is going to spin out of hand. I think he's got a little bit of the 2 ball, we'll see, but he's got to like making balls in the break. And Joey Tate about to get warmed up in a match and playing Delgado from Spain, who had some breakout tournaments last year. And Emily Frazier walked over to probably wish Joey a good luck and maybe mention something about the pink and the purple, right?
Yeah, that was the thing at the US Open against SVB, and well, the brain freeze moment, let's call it that.
Yeah, it's happened to all of us. So, but they had a nice smile between the 2, so you got to believe Joey, as great as he is, and Emily, she's got the perfect timing with humor, it seems, and very comfortable with the players. Pretty nice safety there. Looks like Shaw's going to go to the short cue. I think, anyways, maybe not.
That's the head of Matchroom Multisport and Pool you're talking about there, Emily Fraser.
We're in a 2-rail scape. He wants to hit about a diamond before that left side pocket. Hoping to use the 3, 9, 4, and 8 as some kind of safety, or maybe he makes the 2. I was going to say it looked like the speed was a little light to me, because you want the cue ball to keep traveling towards this end of the table. That's why you kick in that direction towards congestion.
Doesn't look particularly happy out there. Shaw, his body language isn't sending great signals. He's just a little bit fed up, a little bit lethargic. Even though he is a couple of racks ahead in the match.
Yeah, I don't think it really has much to do with the match itself. Talked to him, like I said, before the match, and he said that he was a little like rum-dum a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's had some rest, but sometimes when the rest is off, it's not your usual. Things can get a little off feeling, right? It's almost like when you try to take a nap and you take a little too long of a nap, right?
Well, these people who have time to take naps during the day, Jeremy.
Well, I can't deny it. I'll take a few here and there, but all right, all about the cue ball here. The 2 wasn't that difficult, and I don't think he came away with the shot he wanted.
Not quite stuck to the 3, but as near as makes very little difference. Max Lechner, I can tell you, the US Open runner-up, well, he's on the hill in winners qualification, but only at 8-7 against Nikos Economopoulos. And also in that round, world number 1 Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, who beat Lechner in that US Open final, level at 1-1 in the early stages against Wu Kun Lin.
Looks like he's got to swerve this, Michael, trying to play the 3 to the left side rail and the cue ball up towards the 7. Now maybe going for the jump cue. It's always amazed me how much feel the players have with the swerve shot. It's one thing to make it, right? But to move the object ball into place, he's not going to do that here. He's going to go with the jump cue. I guess he's going to play the bank. You wouldn't figure him to try and cut this in the side, and I don't really see him playing safe from here. Maybe the long rail bank to the lower left.
Yeah, that was what he had in mind. Hasn't quite come off from. Now, can Candela get through to the 3?
I don't think directly. I think the 9 has got him, and the 3 is kind of sitting on the point a little bit. It looks like it's frozen. So the double kiss, not so bad. You can make it going to the rail, but can you really move the cue ball off the double kiss with the 9 kind of in front of the 4? So I think he's got to go kick at this cross corner here. And this is where you don't get too involved with the speed, I don't think, because the cue ball, you know, the slick table, it can lengthen on you and you could whiff the ball. So position on the 4, not too much of a concern here. Make sure you hit the 3.
You may have noticed Tyler Steyer just in the back of the picture there. He'll be playing Alexander Kazakis in winners qualification.
Beautiful shot there. You could see the arc of the cue ball. Rod's about midway right there. Yeah. Beautifully played. He's knocked in all these long ones so far anyways.
Max Lechner is the second man through to single elimination. He's just completed a 9-7 win over Nikos Economopoulos.
Yeah, a match that ran neck and neck the entire way, it seemed like. Just to get edged out at the end. And we said it last year, but good to see Nikos back playing professional pool. Kind of draw the cue ball back carefully here. Shouldn't be a big problem, but you wouldn't want to come all the way back. That's the only way you could really have a problem falling kind of underneath the 8 on the rail. So something like mid-table. Mickey Hoy advances. A quick win over Mickey Krause. Didn't see Mickey at the table much, Michael.
Yeah, I know Krause has been tipped by a couple of people to have a big breakthrough year. He may yet, of course, but beaten 9-2 by Hoy in that match.
Yeah, winter break, though, Hoy can really get going on you. And that's what he did, not last year. He had a little fall off, but the year before, the 18 months before, he made a lot of big runs at big events.
Yeah, had a very good US Open along the way.
Yeah, semi-finalist, correct?
Yep. Back here, Francesco Candela is just not going away. From 3-2 up, he lost 4 racks in a row, but he's battled so well to win the next 2, and is now trailing by just 1 at 6-5. Now, let's have a look at some of the outside table action. David Al-Kadi, someone who's certainly capable of winning a title like this, but what a tough draw this is for him in the opening round against Billy Thorpe, who's been involved in various Mosconis for the Americans. Al-Kadi leading 4-2 there now. And Max Lechner, I was telling you about, has won his match on the winners' qualification side in the last few minutes. These are the winning moments against Nikos Economopoulos. Great position to be in. Day off tomorrow, come back fresh on Friday. Lechner is the winner.
Yeah, great setup for the guys here that do get the day off tomorrow. Plenty of practice tables and time to get in gear and play even better. Moving on to the final 64.
Go for a few long walks in that freezing cold. Really get yourself braced for the challenges ahead.
Well, I've used it a bit. Jet lag setting in. Step outside for a second.
That'll wake you up in a hurry. 6-5.
All right, there's that break that cost him at the beginning of the match. Didn't surrender an offensive shot, but definitely going to give up control. And we'll see that touch from Eagle Eye here. Can he thin this enough to track the cue ball near the 9 and trying to get a snooker with maybe the 3-4-8? See, not too happy with these results, and I don't think it's because of one break. It's been 3 or 4 in this match that has gotten the best of him. Yeah, I'm not sure what to play there besides trying to play a safety of some sort. Lots of things moving, though. Don't mind the jump shot here. It's a hard one rail kick to judge, and with the 2-3 kind of tied up, you really don't want to give up ball in hand.
At the moment, it's looking likely that the winner of this will play Tobias Bongers of Germany in the next round. He's leading 4-0 against Davy Pier Giovanni, another Italian player. 4 of them in the field in total.
Oh, what a beautiful hit here. And did that just sliver the purple 5 as it went by?
Well, let's see here.
Yeah, it just did, huh? Still got the eyes, Michael.
I was going to say, we call Jayson Shaw Eagle Eye. I think we should transfer that nickname to you. Great spot, JJ.
Yeah, that's one of those ones I was telling you about earlier that can fool you as it goes by with the reflection, but that one did wiggle.
Yeah, what a way to bring us to 100 balls potted in the match.
What the shot is here. He's going to try and bank the 2, and I'm assuming kind of follow through the 3 to get to the back rail near the 9 with the cue ball, trying to leave some distance if he doesn't get a snooker. He could get a devastating snooker here with high ball, either behind the 3 as it moves or behind the 9. Let's watch. And you could see it tracking, but a very smart play using distance there. Jayson's in a match. He's not going to like that.
Just keeping an eye on those winners' qualification matches. Ko Ping Chung is now 5-2 up on Petri Mäkinen. Niels Fayen, who has won this title in the past, leads Pius Labutas of Lithuania 4-2. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, who hasn't won it, but is strongly fancied by a lot of people to do so this year, is 3-1 down against Wu Kun Lin.
Yeah, well, last year, Ruiz's year was a hard year to beat on record. I'll tell you, it was an incredible year, but it wasn't smooth sailing. I think it was the UK Open. He lost early and really was fortunate to survive that event before it finishes second to Filler.
Yeah, he lost his first match and was 6-0 down against Ashik Nathwani in his second. But got through and then just seemed to be constantly playing to get through to single elimination. And as I say, he found himself in the final, part of a stellar 2022.
And that happens a lot on shots like this. The fin heads, you're worried about the cue ball running too much. So you really kind of govern against it, and you end up short. Surprised he's not looking at the kick to the short rail between the 4 and 9 with a high right ball. It's a pretty standard kick shot for these guys to kick and stick the cue ball, sending the 3 to the top rail. This one here, of course, he should hit, but not as easy to really kind of calculate what's going to happen. It's going to get a little separation. Pretty good speed with the cue ball, but Jayson's on point. He kind of usually eats these up.
So is that the moment when this comeback has stalled? Well, there's your answer very quickly.
I was surprised to see him kind of elevate there. That tells me maybe not feeling it so much. Jayson usually levels out very well from distance and knocks those in. Okay, I don't know if he can really hold the ball on the purple 5, and even if he does hold the ball on the purple 5, does the 4 pass the 9? Let me look at the safety here. Oh, nice touch. Now Jayson should follow that 2-rail path that the 3 just went on, trying to get at this kick shot. He's going to go across the table. Take a rip at this.
Whoa. Wow, look where this is finished.
Went between everything to get perfect position on the ping 4.
Yeah, what a result. So, it doesn't look as though Candela's attempt to come from 3 behind to draw level is going to prove successful here.
And Jayson picking up the pace, really getting ready to cue the ball before it settles. A little frustration maybe, Michael?
What's that?
A little frustration maybe picking up the pace here?
Yeah, I think so. Chimes in with what we were saying earlier. But he'll be a bit less frustrated now because he's gone 2 clear again. Jayson Shaw now needs 2 more to advance. He leads Francesco Candela by 7 racks to 5 in the World Championship. So Jayson Shaw 2 clear once again at 7-5.
He's made a ball on the break. Still not the best break shot from him. Hitting him a little thin. He's going to have awkward cueing over the one. Very difficult not only to make the one, but get position on the two. Can he spin this with outside? Tell you what, if you're trying to load this up with a lot of left, cueing over a ball a little jacked up, this could end up looking kind of terrible. I think he's going to play the safety, I would think. I'd like banking the one 2 rails underneath the 6 and bringing the cue ball onto the 5. Keep this real simple with the cueing so awkward. He can go for it, but I think he's an underdog if he goes for it. Yeah. I think very fortunate to get that out of that shot. I think he was trying to make it.
David Al-Kaidi, who's been part of the winning European Mosconi Cup team the last 2 years, is in a close one against Billy Thorpe, who's no stranger to a bit of Mosconi success himself. Al-Kaidi leading 4-3 in that one.
Yeah, Billy figuring out this is where he wants to be in professional pool, as he should be. The more matches he plays, the more comfortable he'll get. What's he doing here? This is a tricky little shot. Okay, playing the safety. Speed pretty good. Line pretty good. So probably a 2-rail escape here for Jayson. In between the 3 and the 1. He's going to look at the jump cue possibly. Beautiful strike. That's exactly what he was playing. He couldn't get underneath the 1 because the 7's in the way. So off the side of the 1 was definitely the intention. You'd like to think jump shot here, but he's got to carry 2 balls that are separated by some distance. What he's checking right there is not if he can see the 1. He's checking to see if he has to clear the 2 on the jump shot as well. If he doesn't have to clear the 2, I think he takes it on the jump. Otherwise, I think it's the kick shot. Lots of good things going to that top rail and back underneath the 1. And that's a great view there. I like the kick shot much better than the jump. What he's looking at, which I think is trying to do a little much with the shot itself, is he's trying to kick to the top rail and then hit what would be his left side of the 1, cutting the 1 towards the lower right, bringing the cue ball behind the 2-8. I think that's asking a lot. I'd try to kick it in by the 6, I think, to be honest. Now you hit it perfect, like he was trying, but even hitting it well, it doesn't have to work out. Really nice effort. All right, should shave the 1, either the top side or the bottom. The 1-rail escape is almost a guaranteed hit here, even though it doesn't do a whole lot for safety, but you could kick the 1 in the side. If he gets involved again trying to do something special with this, like kick the 1 and maybe knock it between the 9 and 5 to the top rail, he may not get a cushion after contact. Yeah, I like him taking a rip at it. Watch the 7. Ooh. Sometimes you have to test Lady Luck, Michael.
Yeah, the way he threw his arms up at the end, it was just an acknowledgement that he was surrendering his fate to the pool gods, as Carl would describe them.
They're a real thing. Don't think they are.
They don't like me, I know that.
No? If you haven't put your time in, it's not that they don't like you, it's all about respect, Michael. They got to respect you first. Eagle eye trying to get the left arm a little more loose, and I'm not sure he got there. No pocket, maybe. Maybe he plays another kiss shot here. 5 off the 8. Doesn't look like he's in the mood for safety. All right, he's got to make a nice shot here, coming up just above the side, 2 rails. That's got to go a little bit. Should roll out. Never a doubt.
And maybe Shaw has come through the storm here. He was pulled back to 6-5. Crucially took the next rack, and he's added another now, and that is the one which takes him to the hill. Jayson Shaw leads Francesco Candela 8-5. So let's see once again the moment Naoki Oi won his match earlier. And it's always a pleasure to hear what he has to say. So let's do that.
Naoki, that wasn't an easy first round draw, but a very good result.
Yeah, very nice today feeling. But no easy game. So beginning first match, so nervous. Yesterday, no sleeping, bad image. Yeah, but I have a confidence and go to the victory, big major title. I have, yeah, and the good shooting, focus. Yeah, today very nice and lucky.
Rack 6, you pulled off that risky combo to the middle pocket, and after that it was plain sailing.
Yeah, I see. I know, risky, but but same maybe position very difficult, and the combination is me risky same. Yeah, me last rack is a Mickey, and the combination return back. Yeah, very nice.
You're always smiling, you're always laughing, you make us laugh. But here at the World Championship, very serious.
Yeah, very serious, of course. And 9 ball, and super good venue, and the super people, and good camera condition. Yeah, all perfect, and super exciting. Yeah, I have only confidence. Come on, Japanese. Oi, Naoki.
You've been to the semi-finals before in this championship. 2 more steps and you'd be champion.
Big chance, maybe, yeah? Chance. Thank you.
Well done.
Yeah, serious business in that interview with Phil Yates, but he was likes to throw in a little something for us, and he gave us that at the end. So Naoki Oi advances, and back here, Jayson Shaw potted a couple of balls off the break, but scratched. So ball in hand for Francesco Candela, and a great chance now to prolong this contest.
Yeah, absolutely, and really, no matter how this match looks or turns out, you'll look at the stats sheet if you're Candela and be pretty satisfied, maybe, besides the break and run stat, just because the break has held him back. But he's played solid pool. And you got to figure it was a ball in hand to get him started, kind of really, and early in the match, and another ball in hand to keep him in the match.
Yeah, that's right. In the second rack, when Shaw scratched, having raced through the opening rack.
Yeah, it's almost like Oi, he's getting a little calmer in his old age. Stellar's something like 34, 30, 33, 34 years old. Could be a little off there, but he's another one that traveled from abroad. Kentucky Derby. Maybe more like 35, actually.
What, Naoki Oi you're talking about?
Is he a little older than 35?
No, he's actually only just turned 30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, last month. Has been in the semis of this championship, as Phil was saying.
Yeah, semis of the US Open a couple years ago.
Yeah, the one that Biliárd won. Okay, so still some pool to play. Candela taking full advantage of that scratch, closing to 8-6, and of course he'll be breaking in rack 15. Niels Fine 6-3 up on Piers Labutus in winners qualification. Ko Ping Chung is going well, leading Petri Mäkinen 7-2. And a good day for that family, the Ko's. But Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, the world #1, the US Open champion, is trailing 5-2 now against Wu Kunlin.
Oh, we talked about some great matches in the opening round. You got to think the winner's qualification is going to carry some incredible matches, and still more to come tonight. Jayson plays Badr Awadi. That should be a great match. Who did I see a second ago? Well, Wang, who from Vietnam plays very, very well, plays JL Cheng. All kinds of great matches going on.
It's been a long day, Jeremy, and my maths were way off there. I knew Oi was born in 1983, so that actually makes him 40, not 30.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking I was like 30, man.
Yeah, I didn't think it seemed right even as I was saying it, but yeah.
Because I've known him a good 10 years, I think.
Trailing by 8 racks.
He did turn 40 in early January. So back here, 8-6 to Jayson Shaw. Candela still battling.
I was wondering, everyone else is getting younger as I'm getting older, Michael. Fountain of youth, he seems like anyways, Naoki Oi. He's always so energetic.
Maybe that's why it seems so easy for me to believe he was only 30. Now this has turned out well.
Yeah, a bit of a stretch, so he's got to use the crutch, the bridge. Now he doesn't have, but you know, the side pocket is reasonable for the 2, so it's going to come 2 rails in between the 9 and 2 ball for the 2 in the side. It does pass up in the top right corner, so really the under hit the big mistake. Probably his best break off of the match as well. And this final 64, everyone wanting to get there for so many reasons. The main one, you're still in the tournament, but it does lengthen to a race to 11 at that time, which all the players enjoy. He can reach this. This makes a big difference if he can reach it as far as ball control. He just come 1 rail now. No, he did come 2. Looks like the speed is there. At least enough.
Mariusz Skoneczny of Poland, 7-4 up against Johan Chua of the Philippines.
Look at a match later on. Not sure what time that match is going to go off. Filler and Alex Pagulayan, is that what I saw? 2 former world champions.
Yeah, that's not till tomorrow, though. Another former world champion, Albin Ocean, in action against young Khaled Al-Gambi. 1-all in that.
An awkward shot here for the path of the cue ball. Doesn't look like he can just naturally roll off the 2. Maybe the 7's in the way. To come 3 rails between the 5 and 9. He's going to have to pull the cue ball around the 7 and then around the 5. Speed's important. This is going to get a little thin. Should be okay. We always say that, even though it's tough. Again, off of a thin hit. How you hit the pocket makes a huge difference on your speed control with the cue ball. Hits it to the left side of the pocket. He may land on that left side rail or near it. Cuts a little thin. He could overrun his mark. I'll tell you, regardless, like I said before, wins this match or not, he's keep doing what he's doing here, improve the break a little bit. You gotta like his chances making the final 64.
I don't think anyone watching this won't want to face him on the loser side, if indeed that's where he ends up.
He's a long ways from there, because he's still at the table, and he has a good shot here on the 5. And finally had his best break off of the match.
Yeah, he's doing everything he can to stay out of the loser side. This would be a huge landmark win for him if he can complete the turnaround.
You landed funny here. So here's the time to not try and do too much with the cue ball as far as getting it off the rail. You want to come back a little bit, but I think if you get involved with getting really good on the 9, you make maybe the 8 a little missable. Wouldn't mind cueing kind of over the side pocket. He didn't want to shoot off the rail, Michael. Took a chance there, in my opinion.
Steeling himself, taking a deep breath, knows it's a huge moment. This has turned into one of the most intriguing clashes of this opening day of the World Championship. Candela was 8-5 down. He's now back to just 1 behind, and he'll be breaking with a chance to take us to a hill finish. He was 8-5 down in this match, but has won 2 in a row. It's the second time that he's done well to was 6-3 behind at one stage.
Yeah, and I was wondering his best break off, and I think it was his first break and run of the match in the last.
Yeah.
Couldn't keep it going. And now a pretty routine shot on the 1, but an ugly 2 ball that's covered up by the pink 4 a bit and a little bit by the 5 down to the top corner pocket. Shaw really sizing up a combination, and the reason why he's sizing this up is I think he can get pretty natural position above the 5. Now the thing is, most guys would tell you I don't want to shoot this combination with ball in hand. So looking to attack. He wanted the side pocket, and the 8's gotten in the way. He's got to still like his chances of some type of safety play.
Koping Chung is the latest player through to the last 64, a 9-2 winner over Finland's Petri Mäkinen.
I like him chopping the 2 towards the pink 4 here and bringing the cue ball behind the 9. It's natural with a little, just a touch of inside English. I think it's hard to get a snooker otherwise, or at least something that feels guaranteed. So now Jayson's seeing if the 3 plays. If that's the case, he's going to try and roll bank the 2 cross corner. I think he's giving up a chance here. Love the aggressive, but this kind of bank is hard to gauge. And the cue ball, and he's left an opening. Physically, I think the adrenaline gets going, right? When, you know, you're drained, right? But I think the mental side of it, you know, you can just kind of push it a little much.
Yeah, I think Shaw's at a stage now where he just wants to get this over with, go off and get some rest, come back here tomorrow afternoon to play, most likely Tobias Bongers, who's 6-1 up on Davy Pierre Giovanni. The outcome is still far from assured here, and what a chance this is for Candela. He led 3-2. He then lost the next 4 racks. The last 2 of those were breaking runs from Shaw, so all the momentum was running the way of the Scot.
Yeah, and I think just a little fatigue has let the brain slip, just because if you saw the 1 ball even, right, the start of this rack, Michael, Jayson was doing everything he could to not have to play safe on the 2. He was trying to produce something on the 1. He made it a much tougher shot, trying to get offensive for the 2. And even there, when he didn't land where he wanted, he still kind of pushed the envelope, staying offensive. So maybe be a little fortunate if he gets away with this match. I think he's landed perfect here. He's got to cut this to one side of the pocket, which will produce the angle to move the cue ball. Good look there. He's got not all of it, but plenty. And really, like I said, this is the side of the pocket you want to use for this shot anyways. It makes the cue ball come across a bit easier. Tell you what, good thing he came free of the 8 there. This could get very awkward. Little center stun, come back and forth. Tell you what, when it's come to position and really picking out the right shot, he's missed his mark very often in this match.
Well, he seems to keep a very clear head and think straight at all times. Doesn't look rushed at any moment, as you often do see a player getting into the habit of. And have the chance to pull off a huge victory.
And what should be a hill match here shortly, and what really has been the question mark in the match for Candela has been the breakoff. We'll see. Not taking anything for granted, but what he can produce. What should be being number 17.
Jayson Shaw's last World Championship match finished hill. The last 32 stage in Milton Keynes last year when he was beaten by Ko Pin-Yi. I'm sure he's already mentally bracing himself for another deciding rack here.
Yeah, he's played so solid, you can't figure too much here. Just, again, don't try to overdo it. Just take what the table gives you. And that speed's going to be pretty ideal. Get a chip shot 9 ball.
We're going all the way. At 8-5 down, he trailed by 3 racks for the second time in the match. He got back to 1 behind, having trailed 6-3. But from 8-5, he's got back on level terms. And Candela will have the break in the final rack. First time we've been level since 3-all. Now let's have a look at table 2 just before we see this final rack. And that is the very familiar figure of Alban Ocean. Twice the winner of this championship, twice the runner-up. And he's just levelled at 2-all against Khaled Al-Ghamdi. Ocean, the only man to have played in the final of this great championship 4 times. Well, what thoughts are going through his head at the moment? Reminder, if you're not familiar with the format, sure will have another chance on the loser side, but doesn't want to be messing around with that.
No, I mean, there's guys on paper, you would say, on paper better than Candela. Overall, that he has a good chance to face on the one-loss side. Now, Candela has played a great match here, and I think
Francesco Candela.
the looks of it, he can repeat it as he goes forward if he wins this match or loses it. But I think, like I said, Jayson just maybe a little spent from the last few weeks.
So here comes one of the biggest shots of Candela's life.
And he's made a ball. We'll see how comfortable he is here. He can really play a brutal safety, kind of banking the one away and forcing the cue ball underneath the purple 5. It's a nervy shot, meaning it's not one, again, you practice all the time. And I'm not sure, maybe the 7's in a way to make the 1 escape. And it looks like more of it that maybe the 7's right in the way, really. You'd like to bank the 1 a little more towards the 2, 8, and 4 when stun the cue ball, but not sure what the shot is here. And the other problem with the shot I was talking about, if he can do it, is he could fluke another ball in, sending the 1 towards other balls. And I'll tell you another shot he has. He could cut the 1 towards the purple 5 with a little top left English and just come across and use the 7 as a 1-ball blocker. See that stun shot right there? What a beauty. He's even cut off that kick shot. Wow. How are you rolling? Yeah, he's going to have to make a little bit of a sticky decision here. And a must hit, you might say, from Shaw.
Yeah, absolutely. And for a moment, as though he may leave the 1, but it's turned out pretty well for Shaw in the end.
Yeah, you wouldn't figure the jump shot just because of where the 2 is. I'm not sure if it's playable, and if you jump the ball from that close, that means you're probably going to draw the ball some, and that could be a problem. And we'll see how he cues this. If he cues it with a bit of left English, I think he can avoid the double kiss on the 1. If he goes with a straight ball, I think he kisses the 1, maybe. Most of the players kind of feel this kiss, this double kiss coming off the bottom rail, but does he see enough of the 1? No, that shot's not laying there. So it looks like he wants to attack with the bank, Michael. Looks like he's drawn it. Still could get a kiss. Okay. First kind of roll of the match, maybe, like a big roll. Really has been clean pool from Francesco.
Well, this is what you want to see in a deciding rack. All the tension just building like this. It was added to by the length of time Candela took over his last shot. Break and run. It'd be wonderful to see in some ways, but also quite anticlimactic, particularly after a contest with so many twists as this one.
And we always talk about it with the Hill matches, how rare the break and run is for some reason. Can't quite put my finger on why that is. Now the 2 has gotten opened up with that bank shot, or at least I think it's open with the bank shot that Candela tried to play, so a lot riding on this first one ball. The jump shot is kind of like the for sure kind of hit, but what are you going to do with it? You're not going to cut the ball in, you wouldn't figure. The kick across the table to the right side and then at the one offers a lot of scratches, but also he could pocket the one. It's like he doesn't want to kick at it.
Francesco level here. Francisco level on table 6. Sanchez Ruiz, winner of the US Open in Atlantic City last October, has hauled himself all the way back to 5-all now against Wu Kunlin. That's in the winners qualification round for a place in the last 64 on Friday.
Now, the only reason I could think about him banking or jumping at this is for the bank shot and trying to hold the cue ball on the top rail. That way, if he surrenders a shot, it's not easy. Fluke the 8. Well, 0-0, 2-2. This shot, Eagle Eye gets down and knocks it in. We'll see what happens at 8-8.
Well, that's what's happened, and he's left it. So what a moment of opportunity now for Francesco Candela. Pull off one of the biggest results of his life. Tobias Bongers almost certainly will face the winner of this in the next round. He's on the hill at 8-1 against Davy Pierre Giovanni. This, a totally different sort of contest.
He's got a lot of work, but this first shot is tricky as any of them, I think, to kill the cue ball nicely. Not just for the 2, but to play position on the 4. Looks like he can kind of kill the rock. You don't want to dead roll this. He may use a little tip position to slow the cue ball down.
Had a little bit of just about everything in this match. Seems a long time ago now since Shaw potted 3 balls off the break from the first shot of the match. Ran out from there. Become such a struggle.
And he kind of overkilled the cue ball, so he may play from underneath on the 4 here rather than travel the cue ball too much, because he definitely wants an angle to get across for the 5. A little elevated over the 7 and stretched on the 2.
Danger here of maybe taking your time a little bit too much?
Yeah, he's played at a nice pace. It hasn't been fast or slow, but talking about the carbon fiber and no glove, maybe. Now the hand's a little sweaty at Hill, Michael. Uh-oh. I don't know. Okay. Got an angle. I was afraid it was going to spin into a little too straight, but I don't think he can really get across that great on the 5 without taking a chance at missing the 4. So he's going to have to make a couple nice shots here on the 4 and 5. I don't know what the heart rate is, but it doesn't seem like much for a Hill match for Candela. The thing is, if he gets thin on the 5, he's got to worry about the 7 a little bit coming across with the cue ball. So big shot here and tells a lot of the story. Just overcut it. He had a similar shot early in mid-match, maybe, that he hit similar, but it did catch the pocket and fall. That one just caught the outer point. So if I was Shaw, I wouldn't want an angle on the 5. I'd like to get nice and straight on the 5 here and just follow down for the 6 on the side. Okay, he actually got even better than straight. He got underneath it, which was hard to do.
Has the moment passed for that man?
No, watch out. This could get awkward. Okay, he carried some angle, but with the 9 over the spot, this is still funny. 3 rails to short side. Yeah, watch out, corner pocket.
This is going to be so hard for Candela to take. Got into this championship at number 83 in the world rankings. But from 8-5 down, he got all the way back to 8-all against Jayson Shaw. Had his chance to win it, but a miss on the 4 has ended up being his last shot.
Francesco.
Shaw has seen it out from there and survived this real challenge on the opening night to win by 9 racks to 8.